In my visit to Suva today, the Prime Minister has been good enough to spend time with me and my delegation. We've interacted with him and his cabinet colleagues. I will, time permitting, briefly visit the Gidmet Gallery in the Fiji Museum. Yesterday, I also had an opportunity to visit the Sri Shiva Subramaniam Swami Temple at Nandi, and I look forward to meeting members of the diaspora in Fiji later at the High Commission. In terms of our discussion with the Prime Minister and his senior colleagues today, we reviewed our bilateral ties. We discussed very openly the possibility of adding to its substance, of improving its quality, and there were some specific domains which the Prime Minister in his remarks referred to. This morning, I also had the honor of calling on His Excellency the President of the State House. We launched the solarization of the Pacific Heads of State Residences project, which is supported by the Government of India, and the State House in Suva was the first location where we've actually seen this fructified. This project reflects India's strong commitment to climate action, to climate justice. It is also underlining our shared priorities with Pacific Islands on this very important challenge of climate change. We also just signed and exchanged the visa waiver agreement. It will certainly be helpful in encouraging greater travel between our two countries. And I would also say the experience of the World Hindi Convention would also surely enthuse all the delegates and their friends and relatives, of which I'm sure there are many, to come to Fiji as well. So friends, India and Fiji have close and long-standing ties, and I think a large part of that is really built on our people-to-people linkages. We have been privileged to partner Fiji in its nation-building efforts across various sectors, in working with it in capacity building in areas like health, education, agriculture. We've done projects in the sugarcane industry. We have worked together in renewable energy. And I think today one part of our discussion looked at areas like IT, support for medium and small enterprises. So there is really a very, very substantive bilateral agenda before us. In a region that is prone to natural disasters, India has also stood with Fiji in difficult times. We've been a first responder on certain occasions. And during COVID, in line with our what we call our Vaccine Maitri initiative, Vaccine Friendship Initiative, Fiji was recipient of 100,000 doses of vaccine in March 2021. And we are truly pleased at the recovery that we see in Fiji, and it's something that we regard as something which is very good for the global economy. Again, reflecting our unique demand-driven development partnership approach, we are very pleased to work on high-impact community projects in Fiji. I think some of these have contributed to transforming the quality of life of communities here. We certainly look forward to doing more of that in the coming days. Today, we discussed regional and global issues of shared interest. We agreed to work more closely towards strengthening our multilateral cooperation, working strongly in international organizations. We particularly focused on the Pacific region because, again, India sees Fiji as a very important partner in the Indo-Pacific. We hope to co-host the third summit of the Forum of India-Pacific Islands Cooperation, FIPIC, in the coming months, and we would certainly value Fiji's presence and leadership on that occasion. So let me conclude by emphasizing that we are very confident of our long-standing relations between our two countries. I'm very assured after discussions with the Prime Minister that this relationship will scale greater heights, that it would deliver to the mutual benefit of our peoples, and that our expectations of this relationship would be fully realized. Thank you very much. Vinaka Bakale.
My question is for Minister Jaishankar. So as you have mentioned in your remarks earlier that one of the industries that will be assisted through bilateral cooperation is the sugar industry in Fiji. So just want to bring to your notice that in 2015, there was a LOC agreement signed between Exim Bank and Fiji Sugar Corporation for $70 million in financing of the upgrade of the sugar mills and rail networks. But unfortunately, this deal was annulled because FSC did not provide the required documents. So just my question to you, is there any possibility that the government of India will explore this? And if the request comes from Fiji to provide financing for the upgrade of the infrastructure, will that be considered? Thank you.
You know, my understanding of the sugarcane domain is a little bit different than that suggested by your question, because I think we've actually cooperated in the modernization and the working of sugarcane industry in this country. I know that we have provided equipment under the line of credit. I know that much of it is working. I do understand that the industry as a whole has some challenges. That is something that we have actively discussed today. All I can say at this stage is we do realize the importance of this industry to Fiji's economy, and certainly that is something that will shape our further policy.